G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here with another DR650 adventure. And this was a special ride I did a few weeks ago. Why was it special? Well, it was organised by my good mate Dusty Taylor. Although some of the boys would like to change his name to Muddy Taylor. And as you can see, it was a cracker of a day. The weather was fantastic and we had all met early in the morning at Cessnock Macca's. There were 19 of us adventure riders and quite a few road riders, and we were all going to meet up at Moonan Flat for lunch. And how's this? I'm not the only one with a video camera. Dusty brought his along as well, so now you can see how excited I get when I'm riding. Anyway, we waited here in this glorious spot. We were using the cornerman system, but it wasn't quite working yet. We had an Africa twin on the ride, plenty of KTMs, a KLR, BMWs, Tanares, and good old Suzuki DR650s. And my mate Steve, aka Mr. Kick-a-Brick-along, was riding with me as well. It was a good opportunity for us to make sure our bikes were running well, because the following weekend we were going to head up north for the Adventure Rider magazine annual Northern Congregation. And here he is, Dusty Taylor on his 800 GS BMW. The man who organises awesome rides with water crossings, slippery, sticky mud, hill climbs, and beautiful eye-popping scenery. Anyway, after riding some beautiful trails, lots of water crossings, we came to a gate where we all regrouped. And this just happened to be the spot where Dusty whispered in my ear, "You'll like this next section, Wayne." I think his words were, "It's a little bit more technical." And off we went, but before we hit this fun part, I had to mark the corner. And when Tail End Charlie finally came into view, I was off like a dog shot up the bum. Now when Dusty says it's going to be a little bit more technical, he doesn't mean it's going to be all out mayhem. He just meant it was going to be a little bit different to the normal trail riding we'd been doing that day. But what he didn't take into account was all the rain they'd had in that area. This ride was about to become a muddy slop fest. But hey, the DR650 thrives on this kind of terrain, and I was having fun making my way up the ranks like a madman. Until finally I caught up to the lead bikes, and the closer I got up the front, the muddier it became. Now when I passed these last few bikes and finally sat in behind Dusty, our lead rider, I probably could have just relaxed for a moment, just taken it easy. But no, I then overtook Dusty, rode ahead and videoed the boys passing me once again. I'd had so much fun coming up through the ranks, I thought I'd do it again. And as I rode off the trail into some rough stuff to get around my mate on the KTM, that's when it went a little pear-shaped. I hit a rock, bounced back out into the trail, and hit the deck like a sack of spuds. But there was no time to curl up in the fetal position and have a cry, because 5 minutes later we were riding around a fallen tree into the Okefenokee swamp. It was about to get a whole lot muddier, and the only way to get through this quagmire was to dismount and try and throttle the bike out. Dusty grabbed the front wheel, but when he tripped, it created a domino effect that had me wedged between my DR650 and Dusty's Beamer. This is adventure riding at its best. And as Dusty and I were having a good laugh, the boys behind us were making their way through the muddy sections where we could all regroup. But we had to continue to forge on. There was still plenty more muddy sections to get through, and even Dusty was finding it a little difficult. But later, rather than sooner, we got through the mud, hit the tar, finally arrived at Moonan Flat for a late but awesome lunch. Moonan Flat is a village in the Upper Hunter, about 51 kilometres northeast of Scone, and it just happens to be the closest town to the western entrance to the Barrington Tops National Park. We were now riding the beautiful trails that would take us to Gloucester, and this is also where our mate Jerry gave us a little fright when he stacked his big KTM and knocked himself unconscious. But he was in good hands. Sam and Rian escorted him all the way home. And we that were left rode our way through the afternoon shadows all the way to Gloucester. It had been an epic ride for everyone. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I arrived home at 8 o'clock that night, and some of the boys had even further to ride. But it's what we've come to expect on one of Dusty Taylor's awesome adventure rides. And how lucky are we? We're riding in one of the most beautiful countries on the planet, Australia. And I'll tell you what, I'm already hanging for Dusty Taylor's next adventure ride. I'm artist Wayne Dowson, and thanks for watching, everyone.